Nobody notices the air until it's moving, you know? The same is true of the ether. People are like, well, what's the ether? What's a field? I mean, a field is really simple. A field is an ether perturbation modality. Get to talking about the ether in a second. I want to just go to it. The ether, of course, is just pure potential, non-Cartesian, counterspatial inertia. The essence, of course, of all field modalities. The attribute, of course, of the ether is what the ancient Greeks actually had a few different names for it. They called it the euristostaias. They too called it a nanke, or necessity. And that's the attribute, the extrinsic attribute of the ether. And then, of course, you have to get into defining the extrinsic attribute of the one, or the transcendent agathon, which is the good and good, light and illumination, which, of course, are not two different things. And then you have to, unfortunately, define monism. All this is actually really simple, but it requires a completely different key or legend within your mind, which is a metaphysical legend, and that's like the next step. And we're on like Padawan, yeah, I hate Star Wars references, but we're on like Padawan level of keys and legends as far as maps go. There's a different legend and a key for emanationism and specifically metaphysics, and that's not what this video is about. However, everything, of course, is one. Unification, of course, is the unification of both objective and subjective and transcendence. Light, of course, as Nikola Tesla said, is a longitudinal disturbance in the ether. He said light was a sound wave in the ether. Unfortunately, all of humanity suffers from the same mental defect, and they think that light is a wave and a particle and a wave-particle duality, and light has a speed, and all those things are untrue. Light is not an emission, but anytime someone hears speed, they think something is being emitted or traveling from point A to point B. We have the speed of sound, and everybody thinks sound is traveling. But when I'm talking, I'm not emitting anything. I'm actually, of course, creating a disturbance, kind of like waves in the water. Like you're in a pool and you're flapping your arms, you're creating waves in the little kiddie pool or a pond or whatever. Creating a disturbance in the medium. I'm actually creating a disturbance in the medium, and of course the medium of sound, of course, is the air, oxygen and nitrogen. And the same is true of all fields. You're just, energy, the release of energy specifically, is creating disturbances in the medium. This thing that we call magnetism is a dielectric field. Dielectricity, of course, is another field modality. Electricity is a hybrid of both of those things. Gravity is an anti-field. We can't throw a ball up in the air, which takes a few calories of energy, and say when the ball actually reaches its full energy dissipation, starts to fall back towards the earth. No one would stupidly say that was an anti-throw. Well, there's something different. You know, when you throw it up in the air, that would be magnetic. When it actually starts to fall back to earth, we could say, though, well, that's magnetic attraction, which of course does not exist at all. Or we could say, well, this is no more magnetic, it is gravitational. It's like, well, that's ridiculous. That's like saying a ball falling back to earth is an anti-throw. But of course it's not.